Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another YouTube video for What Else Is Going On podcast, aka We Go Podcast. So I wanted to come to y'all real quick. I'm taking a break in my working, being off the road because my daughter had me last night. She was showing me the clips. Sorry, y'all. Oops. Y'all, I thought I had cut it off. I did not cut my phone off. Well, not off, but the volume down. But anyway, so last night, my daughter was showing me clips of the Shannon Sharpe interview with Katt Williams. I've always loved Katt Williams. He's had some times, but always thought he was a great comedian, loved his specials, blase, blase, whatever. So I decided while I was driving today to listen to the full interview. Well, I listened to part one, pretty much because I really just wanted to talk to y'all about how he was calling out the other comedians. Child, listen. So I still have a little bit more of part one to listen to, but that's more about his upbringing. Because he said, I mean, in the first like 23 minutes, y'all, Katt was like boom, 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 boom. Shannon Sharpe, when I tell y'all he could barely get a word in, let me tell you, Katt was eating these people, chewing them up and spitting out their bones. I don't even know if he spit the bones out, child. He might have took it all down. So I listened to all of that part twice. And then now I'm just going to go back and listen to, because they were getting ready to get into his upbringing and how he was raised Jehovah's Witness and all that. So I definitely want to hear that. But I just want to come to y'all and talk to y'all about three comedians. What was it? Basically four, maybe three, maybe you can call it like three and a half, but comedians that he had something to say about, which is Rickey Smiley, Cedric the Entertainer, Faison Love, and Kevin Hart. And then he also mentioned Harvey Weinstein. So these are the points that stuck out to me in that first half of the interview. Y'all, when I tell y'all, Katt was on one, honey. So Katt started out by telling Shannon that Shannon has a great product with the podcast and has created a safe space for the truth to be told. And Katt said, I've watched all these lowbrow comedians come here and disrespect you in your face and tell you straight up lies, talking about things that have never been heard in all of Black Hollywood. They feel comfortable sitting here lying to you about it. Y'all, that was off the rip, because Katt was talking about how he doesn't like to go talk to people really, unless you're like the upper echelon of the upper echelon, as far as like news people. But he's a fan of Shannon and he likes Shannon's product. And he could not believe that Shannon would have these lowbrow comedians come and tell him lies. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Rickey Smiley. So evidently on Shannon's show, Rickey said that he was going to be playing Money Mike in next Friday, and that Katt Williams was supposed to be the Santa Claus. So that basically their roles were supposed to be reversed. Katt said Rickey can't act because Rickey can't act. He said Rickey saying he stole that, meaning Katt stealing, because Rickey basically said, I guess, Katt stole the role of Money Mike. He said Rickey saying that was also saying that while they were shooting it. He was bitter, and he was saying that to the people while they were shooting it. He said he told everybody like on set that should have been his role. Now, and I'm going to mention it again, but I'm just throwing this out there. I guess Rickey said that the role was his and he had already shot the role. So Katt says what he knows is they auditioned for that role in Los Angeles. He said he was number 201 for the auditions. And I do know that with some auditions, they do give you numbers. That's me based off of going with my kids, when my kids would have to go auditions for different things, pilots and commercials and all that. Some casting houses, or depending on what it is, would give you numbers. So Katt said that he was number 201. He said, so 200 Black comedians auditioned for the role of Money Mike, and you're saying that you had already had the role and shot the role in 4 days? Then he said, the truth of the matter is Money Mike in the original script got R'd in the bathroom. That's what Rickey Smiley was okay with. Katt said he had to take the risk in front of studios and the cast and the powers that be in his very first movie and say respectfully, humbly, guys, if we talk about anything else, I have no credibility and I have no pull. But we're talking about comedy where I have all the credibility and all the pull. The problem with Friday After Next is we're trying to make it a classic comedy. And this comedy involves an R. And an R is never funny, no matter who it happens to or what the circumstances are. If you would allow me to allow us to do this movie without a Black man getting R'd in it, I promise you that it will be twice as funny as it would be with him getting R'd. And then he said about Rickey Smiley, considering that's the real story, why would you even bring that story up? So what he's saying is, in the first iteration of Money Mike, he was supposed to be R'd in a bathroom, and that Rickey would have been okay with that, but Katt wasn't. So Katt got the role and spoke up and asked them, listen, can we take this part out of the role? Because that happening to someone, no matter who it is or what the circumstances, is never funny. He said Rickey Smiley then told anyone who would listen, Katt Wiliams, don't nobody know who he is. I'm on the radio. I'm with Steve and Ced. Everybody knows me. Then Katt said that Rickey was so egregious on set. He was so egregious, not now, but then he was so egregious that Katt put in his own contract that he wouldn't work with Rickey Smiley again unless he was in a dress. Then he said, now what was Rickey Smiley's next movie? Was it, oh my God, was it Next Sunday? Wait, what was the movie? I typed that notes wrong. The movie, was it Next Sunday or whatever that Rickey was in? And he said, did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract. Shannon says, now why would you put that in your contract, Katt? And Katt said, that's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women. And I believe that the best actors should be in the best roles. Rickey has said that he was supposed to, and I told you all this before. He was supposed to play Money Mike. Rickey said he was supposed to play Money Mike. Katt was supposed to play Santa Claus. Katt said it's an outright lie. So Shannon asked what we would all want to know. Well, why would he say that? Like, why would he literally go on a show and tell a bold-faced outright lie? Katt said, because he's a liar. Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. So Katt is saying that's another reason why he had to come on Shannon's program. Now, remember, at the top of this, I told you that Katt told Shannon he doesn't like going to talk to people, but he likes Shannon's show. But he could not believe that these lowbrow comedians came on and lied on him and about different things. So he had to come on the program to tell the truth. He said Cedric did the same thing. I said, not Cedric. Let me tell y'all what he said about Cedric. Cedric went on Shannon's show and he said, Cedric's sitting here telling you why he ain't a movie star. He over here looking like a walrus and you didn't say nothing. He can't even get his arms off the couch. Child, I said, not Katt. So Shannon started saying, Katt, this is going to be a situation. Then Katt said, Cedric never wrote anything. Remember when Cedric the Entertainer started, he was supposed to be singing, dancing, and telling jokes. That's why he's called the Entertainer. We found out that he can't sing, can't dance, and doesn't write jokes, child. Shannon said, well, he said he's doing an album. Katt said, he has 4 comedy specials, and they're so bad, Shannon, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. Can I say that again for the audience? They're so bad, they're not available on Netflix or Tubi. So Shannon said, you don't think, I'm sorry. Shannon said, so you don't think Ced is a good comedian? Katt said, the world doesn't think. Shannon said, I have to say it again. So you don't think Ced is a good comedian? Katt said, the world doesn't think that, sir. I have 12 comedy specials. 12. Cedric has 4 that are not available on Netflix or Tubi. So Shannon said, Katt, it seems that you have something to get off your chest. Katt said, no. And Shannon said, you wanted to set the record straight? Katt said, winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. I don't say any of these things. I don't say any of these things if my name is not breached by these people on your platform. If you give a liar a platform, then I'm not being messy by saying, hold on, that never happened. It's untrue. And there are hundreds of witnesses for each thing I'm saying. So then Shannon said, well, let me ask you this. What is your relationship with Steve Harvey, Rickey Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer as you sit here currently? Katt said, for over 30 years, there was a group. These aren't three random guys. The way that Rickey Smiley kept appearing at all of my auditions is because of Steve and Sid. He would tell anybody that would listen, meaning Rickey would tell anybody that would listen. He said, they got a gang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake, the comedian, is not in movies? Because he's illiterate. This is what Katt is saying, okay? Why isn't Earthquake in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like all these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. And then he went on to say, like, Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there not a story of anybody who has ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, or was around me when I was inebriated? Now, side note, he just said, where are the stories of people saying they sold me a drug, did a drug with me, or was around me when I was inebriated? So was he just angry when he was fighting that middle schooler? I love Katt, but I thought, okay. Anyway, he said, I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. And then he was saying how people would say, why can't the comedians all get along? And he says to Shannon, listen, did you get along with your competition? If you were a Denver Bronco, did you get along with the Cowboys? And Shannon was like, basically, I mean, I didn't hate them all, basically, as if Katt hates all comedians. So Katt said, I took 46 comedians on the road. I'm not the comedian you could give that to, meaning hating comedians. He said, I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. At first I said, nah, but of course we know he's talking about the comedian Faison Love. So he said, whoever told you any different is a fat Faison liar. Katt said, there's nobody like me in the business. Shannon said, Faison just caught a stray. Katt said, Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. Guess how many Faison got? No, I'm sorry. Katt said that Faison said getting a Netflix special is easy. How many specials did Faison got? 0. So why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice, meaning steroids, discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist, that's all. Hey, Portia, I'm a journalist. He said, that's all I'm saying. He went on to say, I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I have never seen them have anything that I've ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, I guess that these comedians that come into Hollywood, they want to get famous, so they sign up for this program. He said, if you sign up for their program, y'all, Katt is saying this, not me. I'm just repeating. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do interviews in 20 years, that won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her. She's never been interviewed anywhere. And now I understand. And now understand, I'm not just talking about one person. I just told you something that applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that, that's part of what you get when you come into this. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another Black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever. TD Jakes, any of them, all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way knows why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light. Shannon said, whew, after that, I don't know where to go. I mean, because y'all, that part was in like 18 minutes, all of that. So Shannon said, after all that, I don't know where to go. And they took a drink. Katt said, because the people want to know, why would I get blackballed? Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. He said, so if you was a man with another man doing something in the corner or doing something you weren't supposed to in the corner, I know about it. So then we get into Cedric. So Cedric came on Shannon's show, and evidently Shannon asked Cedric, did you steal Katt's joke? Because there's this rumor going around, and I guess there's been a side-by-side comparison of the joke. And it was the joke that Cedric did at the end of his set, The Kings of Comedy, and Katt said he had did it at the end of his set. Cedric said he didn't steal the joke. Timelines didn't add up. So Katt said he first did the joke on BET's Comic View twice in 1998. And he said Mark Curry helped punch it up and take a great joke and basically take it to the next level and make it better. He said Cedric came, sat in the audience, watched him do the joke, and then came backstage and told him how great it was. And then 2 years later, Cedric is doing the joke verbatim on the Kings of Comedy, except Cedric changed the part where Katt Williams says car and made it a spaceship. And I think it was about backing into a parking spot, like or driving with the music up, what have you. He said Cedric and Steve have apologized to him. And I guess on Shannon's show, Cedric was basically like, I've seen Katt like 30 times. So basically like, this is a lie because I've seen him and he's never said anything. Katt said, again, Cedric and Steve apologized. He said, because there was nothing stopping me from basically punching Cedric in the stomach. I guess had he not said something and made it right. Y'all, I was done. Steve Harvey. He brought up, so Katt brought up something that I have heard before. So basically, Steve is saying he didn't want to be a movie star. It was Bernie and all them that wanted to be a movie star. And he said, you didn't want to be a movie star, but yet you had your people call the Ocean's 11 people because you wanted the part that Bernie already had. And I remember hearing that. I remember hearing, Bernie shared that with Steve. They were friends or whatever, that he had got the part in Ocean's 11. And then now he had already got the part. And Steve turned around and had his people call and say he wanted the part. And it got back to Bernie. So I have heard that before. He said Steve Harvey wasn't homeless. That was Katt's story. He said Mark Curry was touring with Steve 20 years ago and was making $3,000 a show in cash, doing 5 shows a week. So basically making $15,000 in cash. How was you homeless? He also said he had Mark touring with him. And then Mark, remember hanging with Mr. Cooper? He says Steve basically got the Steve Harvey show where Steve was the principal. He said Steve was walking around with this, what looked like a perfect lineup that men wanted, but it was really a wig. And now he was bald underneath. But he said he took the concept of the Steve Harvey show from Mark Curry. I don't know. These are the things that he's saying. But so he is not a fan of Steve, of the lies that he's saying Steve allegedly told. Y'all, then he brought up Harvey Weinstein. He said, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before everything about Harvey came out. He said, Harvey offered, and these are his words, Harvey offered to suck my penis in front of all of my people at my agency, and I told him no. He said he did all of that. And when he was offered the script, I guess he was thinking he was the only one, but there were other Black men offered the script. And he said there were 3 other Black guys there. Let me go back. He went to, I guess, where Harvey Weinstein was, and he thought he was being offered the script, but there was 3 other Black guys there. He said, now I told him no. I wonder what the other guys told him. So he's saying Harvey Weinstein offered to suck his penis, and he did it in front of Katt's entire team. And he's wondering if the other people, he never said who in the part that I listened to, if the other people, I guess, did they say yes, or what did they tell him? I don't know. This is just what Katt is saying. Then he touched on Kevin Hart. He said, in 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold out Kevin Hart show at a comedy club. At a comedy club. There being a line for him or ever getting a standing ovation at a comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we ever heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before this person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definition of these words. He said he just did his documentary with Chris Rock. Kevin just did his documentary with Chris Rock, where he shows you his upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast. So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say, we don't believe you. He said, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars don't get to make complete narratives for themselves that aren't true. Y'all, that was like I said, that was like in the first 20 something minutes. It was like bam, 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 bam. So he's basically saying that Kevin Hart is a plant. Now, Kevin did grow up in Philly. Fun fact, or funny, what have you. But my husband, I don't know, I've said it on the podcast, but he sings. And when I say sings, I don't mean like, oh, he can hold a tune. I mean, the man can sing. He writes and he also plays. So of course he sings at weddings. He sang at different events. So if you say, who sang For You? Kenny Lattimore, For You, you know, that one. If you want that, he gonna play it and then he's gonna sing. So you're getting him playing the music and singing it too, right? So we knew that he knew this guy in Jersey that was a promoter at the time, and he was actually working with Kevin Hart on the East Coast in Philly before Kevin was big. So Kevin was doing a show, and my husband actually, this is when we were dating, like way, way, way. Look, what Bernie say, long time ago. But my husband actually opened for Kevin at this show that he was doing. But I say that to say, so yes, Kevin was on the East Coast, and Katt is saying he just did his documentary with Chris Rock, showing you that his comedy upbringing was all on the East Coast. How did he get to LA and already have a network show, a movie? And so basically, Katt is saying that Kevin is an industry plant. These are Katt's words. So, you know, Katt's been in the game for a while. I don't know. It's just a lot. And then, you know, Shannon had said, are you afraid of being blackballed again? Because these are like strong accusations. And basically he was like, they can't do nothing to me. The devil can't do nothing to me. So y'all have to go and listen to the interview. It is on Shannon's podcast. It's called, I just want to give you all the name of the podcast. It's called Club Shay Shay, SHAY, Club Shay Shay. Like I said, there's a part 1 and a part 2. I just did the part 1 where Katt was talking about these comedians, and I'm getting ready to go into the segment where they were talking about his life and how he was raised. Y'all, make sure y'all go check it out. I enjoy listening to Katt, but isn't it crazy because you have people, like anybody can get on the internet and say anything on a podcast, on YouTube, on TikTok, on IG Live, and they can sound so convincing, right? They have stories to back it up, saying people were there. They can even name people, and it sounds convincing. But then you can have somebody who's involved in that story say a totally different thing and sound believable too. So we're in a day and age where people can just say really anything. I don't know. It's wild. Y'all go listen. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.